Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, B Farm, thinking right out here in my lab. In the book, I'm about to finish this book up. Y'all, we out the end of the page. We at 185. We got 6 more pages to go. Let's get this party started. We're going to talk about the most important thing you need to master and develop is your meditative state of mind. Let's talk about it. Redisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. You tune in to receive them. I give you life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this. Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You women I'm through. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my yard be true. All right. Let's talk about the thought process. And that's where your mind at. That's what how your mind is. Some people stuck on the past. Some people stuck on the future. Very few people get caught up in the present. Let's talk about how you can maintain the present and aka state of mind, meditative. The most important quality, excuse me, right thinkers, let's talk about how to develop and master the meditative state of mind. That means just be in that state of mind all the time, 24/7. I personally live in the meditative state of mind 24/7. Let's talk about it. That's self mastery at its best. The most important quality to develop and master is your meditative state of mind. But this is not to be thought of as only the mind of a person that sits in a lotus position in deep catatonic meditation. I'm not that dude. I give a few minutes to meditative state of mind in my own formula. But other than that, I'm always conscious of God. That's what meditation is, communing with God. In your own time, I can commune with God as I go through my daily routine, my life, become God conscious. That's what I call it. And practice my spiritual disciplines, hold myself accountable. All those things that you do on a regular basis, repetitiously, you will become a master of that routine that you set for yourself. Hence, self-mastery. It takes time and effort on your part. But not as a person meditating who while he is or she is involved in the affair, wait a minute, catatonic person, but a person, there you go, not a person meditating, stay in that state of mind, no, but a person who he or she is involved in the affairs of the world, but you are constantly, all the time knows his or her true identity, yourself, thyself, God's self. Those who don't have issues. They show you when you reach that level, you can handle yourself, maintain yourself in any situation you're confronted with. Why? You know yourself. You can get out of pocket. I don't let people get me out of my norm unless I give into that. With self mastery, you know how to control that. That's all. But this is the mind. Remember, the most sophisticated piece of machinery known to man is our mind. But the mind that interacts on the meditative state of mind with every moment of existence, unlike the previously discussed automatic mind, where you just program to do, walk, or whatever. But the meditative state of mind, always focused, laser sharp. Okay? This quality represents, I just gave it a third eye vision of Haru. That means your third eye, your spiritual eye is open, which is the true vision to be what? Regained by us who lost our way. We had to find ourselves, so we got to practice and live through the methods that to get us there. This is practice on a daily basis. That's how it's done. In a sense, people living in the ancient societies such as Egypt and in India would not have needed, pay attention, this is important, back in ancient times, they didn't need to practice what they call formalized forms of meditation. Why? As much as today. Why? Because back then, knowledge of the existence of God and the gods were not an object of speculation, but it was inherited in every fabric, in the very fabric of the culture. We are spiritual beings. We knew God well, but we worshiped him on earth better than any race of people ever. But spirituality was an inseparable part of what? Their practical everyday life. That's why. Therefore, their minds were a lot sharper, would be more constantly focused in thinking about the accommodation of divinity, God, regardless of their activities. Whatever I'm doing, I still got God on my mind. That's what they said, and I understand 100% because that's what I do. That's where I got it from. I practice it, and now I understand what it is all about. This attitude in itself constitute what? That you're already in a meditative state of mind. A similar technique of what we call it spiritual disciplines. Again, that's right. Enjoined by what? Today's modern spiritual preceptors, they call it mindfulness. In India, that's what's called, to be woke, mindfulness. That means you're constantly thinking about God. God is on your mind. You're mindful of God all the time. Sound like Christians, don't it? Okay, if that's what you're going to do, that's what you do. Devotion to God means it's all about God all the time. Okay? Wherein one maintains his or her sense of what? One's own divine essence at every moment while performing their daily tasks of breathing, walking, resting, or even while answering nature's call, also known as development of what we call the witness. Becoming one with Amon, the hidden one. You found him in you. This technique aids you, the spiritual aspirant, in your development and expanding your awareness aside from your common waking consciousness. Now you got what we call super consciousness because you focus on God. You raise your level. Now you got ESP, extrasensory perception. You're perceiving God in a whole other level. It's all mental. All right. But through this practice daily, your soul now separates itself from who? From the ego personality. Yeah, my feet moving now. I'm starting to make sense. Hope this is getting across. My lesson's starting to get across to make my point. The ego personality have to be conquered. And the soul now obtains self-knowledge. It knows itself. It ain't ignorant to itself by the ego self. Now it surpassed the ego conscious mind, the ignorant mind, and raises it to the higher level. Haru, that's the spirit that's in me and you. And it puts the ego in check. And through this practice, now your soul, which separates itself from the ego, by obtaining self-knowledge of itself through what? Self-identification with what? Your higher self itself. Instead of identifying with the physical body, mind, and the senses perception. Again, the extrasensory perception. When you recognize you as a spiritual being, not a physical human being, that's raising your conscious level. You know, next level, aka yourself. So with this wisdom of meditation, it entails developing and increasing subtlety of what? Your intellect. You're getting smarter. You're getting better at what? Knowing who you are. And this is the art of allowing one's mind to have a what they call continuous flow towards divine. I call it God consciousness. And it's done anywhere and what? At all times. Told you I'm God conscious 24/7. Right now I'm conscious. Okay, later on I'll be conscious. Earlier I was conscious. Get the concept? Hopefully. But when you're practicing, the second step of yoga of wisdom, which is reflecting, self-reflecting, okay? Getting into self, getting to know self. That's your job. That's the if that personal effort that you put in. The more effort you put in to know yourself, the more you know about yourself. And this means reflecting and the following affirmations we're going to read about the self may also be used to help identify with yourself. These will lead you, the practitioner, right thinker, to what we call the third level. In Masonry, it'd be a master's degree. In Christianity, it would be a mystical experience. But with the third level of West, we're going to meditate it. We're going to call it the meditative state of mind. We'll lead the third degree, the meditative state of mind. That's when you become conscious of your higher self. And when you hold yourself accountable to be what? God conscious of yourself, that's when you can identify with your true self, aka thyself. The world of, this world is a manifestation, pay attention please, of the divine consciousness. We're living in God's dream. We're going to finish up with that. And all our human life is just a product of the divine thought in individual people, us individuals. We all have the same spirit, but only thing separates us is this thing right here. Some of us going to know, some of us won't. Some of us will learn, some of us won't. Okay. Now, these are affirmations. First, let's start with I am I said. Next one is I am a saw. Next one, I am the virtue. I'm the all-encompassing, okay? He's identified. These are people identifying themselves with the one. I and the Father are one. These are all affirmations. Sound familiar? Okay? I am one with creation. Sound familiar? I am God, and God is me. These are all affirmations of you becoming one with God, and they're putting it in their term, in their way that they made their transformation to what? Recognize God in themselves, in the human. We're spiritual, divine, spiritual beings having a human experience. Once the human part of you wake up and become conscious of who you are, God in human form, you become a different person. Why? You know who you are now. Gradually, when you do this affirmation for yourself, you're gradually allowing yourself to what? Go beyond what? The gross thought, and able to allow yourself to now merge into what we call your higher self. Can I explain it any more simpler? When you go past the norm, the ego self, when you go past yourself, that allow you to now work up on your higher self to be able to emerge with God, become one with God. That's through daily meditation, not prayer. Allow your mind to what? Now dissolve the ego mind, dissolve into what? Your higher nature, aka your Haru. And at all times. Once you reach that level of meditation, that highest level, you stay there. That's called Hotep, supreme peace, or bliss, nirvana, whatever. Anything that recognizes you being at peace with yourself, within yourself, with yourself. Why? Because you know yourself. If at work, you can reflect, thus, this job, my boss, my co-workers are all just expressions of the divine also. But if at home, watching television, you reflect thus the show, the characters, the television set, and my very self who am watching the show are all expressions of the divine. True? If you are dreaming, reflect thus. This dream world is a product of my own consciousness. You can only dream what you have up here. Just as the waking world is a product of my consciousness of God, the consciousness of God. Again, if you are talking to someone, you reflect thus, this person who I'm talking to is an also expression of the divine. See where we're going with this? And I am an expression of the divine myself. We are one through what? Appearing to be separate and distinct. We are individual duals. We are dual human beings, spirit and human. That makes us human in physical form. But we are spirit underneath the human part. Duality, that's the dual person. Okay, spirit and matter come on. If you are taking a shower, you reflect thus. the water that is falling on my body is in the tub, the sound of the water, the soap, the towel, etc. These are all just emanations from the divine. You see where I'm going with this? It's still there. All is the divine, the one. I am with God always. And everywhere I go, I take God with me consciously. That's the meditative state of mind. Just as a dream is encompassed by your consciousness of the person who is having the dream, again, only what's in your head. You can't have my dream. I can't dream for you. But this entire universe is also encompassed by the divine consciousness. He knows all. God is the thinker, the dreamer who is dreaming creation itself. So we're living in his dream, so to speak. Wrap it up. This is going to be a quick one. Now, from this gross thought of what I am is identifying. That's identifying with self. I am, allow yourself to feel that there is no separation between you and God. I'm about to run. My feet about to get crazy. Why? Because this allows yourself to what? Your ego self to dissolve into what? The infinity of the divine self. You go from being human, egotistical, to being spiritual and immortal. Allow yourself to what? Relax so deeply in meditation as to be able to go beyond the concepts of one's mind. Next level stuff here. But to able to go to the root of all thought and dive deep into that ocean of what we call consciousness of oneself. At the surface of the ocean, the waves display many sizes and shapes, but become formless when? As the ocean, as you dive what? Deeper into your own mind from the waking state, which is pata, with a wave of thoughts and concepts, you go into what they call the astral level. That's WRIGHT. That's a spiritual level, wherein your thoughts first emerge into mind. And from here, you now go into what they call the unconscious, the witness state level, where you reach Amun. And now you have discovered what? The witnessing consciousness of God for yourself, which is what? Your true higher self. The source of your individuality, the innermost I in the I. From here, you go deeper and you will discover the consciousness which underlies your very individuality, the am. This is what they call the universal self. Your true nature, I am that I am, and the absolute God in you. Abide here in this highest truth, and you have discovered your own self as what? Being one with the supreme self of the all, the I am, always was and always shall be the immortal, eternal, infinite self. We as human beings have to become conscious of that. That's why we teach. That's why sages and saints and gurus do what we do to help you reach the same level we have already reached. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I got to go, but in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus that day. So I'll never let my right thinkers who now understand how to live in a meditative state of mind have passed away. That's the best state of mind.